So, how do you decide, what is your process for deciding what topics you want to be included in these spaces where we're teaching coaches how to be effective?
Right. That's an interesting question, and I have a whole like system. I have a whole like you network of people that trusted people and friends I work through these concepts with, right? And I am I worked this out a lot on myself. Like this is like and I asked myself, okay, do I like this? I had a friend. Okay, I have a friend in Portland who he had a knack for giving the very best gifts, the very like unusual, slightly off, slightly unusual, but he's every time it was just what? How did he do that? And I asked him, I said, how did you do that? He says, you know what? What I do is I ask myself, what is the gift that I want, right? That I want, that I really want, not that I should want or think that what's the gift that I really want, and then I think of them, and I think, okay, so if I were them, what's the gift that they would really want? And then there's usually something in the middle or something that might fit both, or if it doesn't, then he goes with the one that he would really want but doesn't think it, doesn't. So he would give the gift that he really wanted. And I think about that a lot in terms of these concepts, and thinking, yeah, like what's the concept that I have found like just like made the difference for me, or the concept that I think, you know what, I'm working with this client, I think this might be amazing for this client, let me try this. it's it's finding the thing that I most want, and I can use that. I feel like I have a good sort of internal compass of like, okay, like this is where this is at. And then also listening to so many people for so long, there you gain a sense of, okay, like this is what happens when you enter into listening space. And when you enter into listening space, there's, especially in service of someone else, like when you're with someone else, people show up very differently when they're in a group setting than when they're solo. And what's happening right now in our society is that there's so much soloization happening, where you're just solo and you're there with your own thoughts, and there's no one there to like be next to you to be like, hey, like how's it going? There's no human like you know person there. When you're in solo space, there's such an opportunity to do really meaningful, focused work that really changes the world. Like there, you can just get in that space where like, dude, this is like we need that. We yearn for that solo space, and we also yearn for connected space.
Mm.
So, what I view coaching as, okay, so what can we cover? What can we sort out in collective space that then is worth it, is so valuable, the insight's so big that you're going to take that back to your solo space and it's going to work. That's the filter that I think a lot of with the 2.0 is wondering, okay, so collective, okay, what can we sort out collectively? Bring it back individually. Uh, it's something I care a lot about, and society is moving like even like quicker in this direction. So it's like I feel like we're full time remote since 2017. We got a couple things figured out. Now we're 5 years into it. I feel like we're really hitting a stride with figuring out how to uh, move the ball forward, even in this with different challenges.
Yeah, one of the things that really resonates about what you just said is the fact that while we are training coaches to become coaches of other people, inevitably a personal growth journey happens for those coaches going through our training program as well. And so it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is that sort of connected space where we're teaching these concepts also gets absorbed into the coach themselves and how they want to incorporate that into their lives and make their lives better. And it becomes this really beautiful cycle of, because their lives are better now, they really have much more motivation to help other people's lives. I know that was my story coming through Coach Training EDU myself, was, thinking I wanted to do one thing and then going through the program and having the coaching experience and that flipped classroom model of getting the coaching, and changed the whole trajectory of the way I saw my life. Had I not gone through coaching, I don't know that I would be where I am. today. So I love what you're saying is sort of how are we building this into a community that then lets them go use it in their own lives too, to then incorporate it into their coaching practice, and it kind of becomes this really beautiful cycle. And so I think, one of the things like in that same vein is like, there's a lot more, right, to this 2.0 book. There's a lot more concepts. Some of them, we're not afraid to put together something that feels like it might be a little out there because we know it works. And